Douglas Cooling and Heating, serving the Birmingham area for 38 years. 988-3706. That's Douglas.
I'm James Spann. This is the afternoon edition of the Weather Xtreme video for Monday, the 13th of December, the frozen tundra of Alabama. At least the sun's out after the morning snow flurries. Let's take a look at the Skycam shots. First off from Gadsden. We're kind of looking down over some of the property up there on top of Lookout Mountain where this tower is located, and really can't see any evidence of any snow on the ground there. I'm sure at some point along the way they had a dusting, but that's gone. Up at Hamilton, look at those guys out there in a sub-freezing day. By the way, the Gadsden temperature was 25. At Hamilton, it's 30, so everybody below freezing around the Skycam network. And that's the football field at Hamilton High School. Of course, they've really not had a lot of flurries today. They had theirs yesterday up in northwest Alabama. And a check of the Skycam at Decatur up in the Tennessee Valley. And again, things are looking pretty quiet. Well, there you go. There's our big trough over the east. And I mean big trough with an Arctic connection over the pole, cross-polar flow. There's a surface look. It's a 1,032 millibar high nosing down the mighty Mississippi River. And again, the surface low that's over New England is, down to 985 millibars, something like that, 983. So again, the winds are just howling up there around the Great Lakes. And even down here, pretty windy today. Winds have gusted to 35 miles per hour, keeping the wind chill way below freezing. And there are the numbers. Tuscaloosa, look at that. They've creeped up above the freezing mark. They've got 34. Birmingham at 32, but everybody else in the 20s. To the north and east, Gadsden and Anniston 28. Those, by the way, are 2 o'clock observations. And around the nation, you can see that it is warmer. Look out there from El Paso to Denver. They've got some really comfortable weather out there. It looks like Denver is sitting in the 50s, but forget that over the east. And again, the pattern just seems to favor below average temperatures for the rest of this month. In fact, let me just show you the Arctic oscillation now. Usually show this at the end of the video. Look at the bottom chart. This is kind of a cousin of the North Atlantic oscillation. When those things are strongly negative, it tends to favor a deep trough over the east with an Arctic connection. And sure enough, it really spikes here in a few days, but it stays negative on through Christmas. And any warm-up would be kind of short-lived if this is correct. Check the watch warning map. Those are wind advisories for Alabama, Georgia, South Carolina. Still got winter weather issues and advisories from eastern Tennessee on up to the Appalachians and to parts of interior New England. But generally speaking, this big event is beginning to wind down. Here's the QPF chart. Expected precipitation for the next 5 days, valid through Saturday morning at 6 o'clock. And you can see that that's solidly got us in a zone where 1/2 inch of something is expected, mostly rain. And, of course, the big question mark is Wednesday morning. No secret to those that watch these videos. And here's a look at the Day 3 ice accumulation probability coming from HPC on Wednesday. And this is valid beginning at 6 o'clock Wednesday morning through 6 o'clock Thursday morning. And it's got the main ice zone a little north of here. Kentucky, Tennessee, and across the Ohio River. But there will be a window Wednesday morning where we could indeed maybe struggle with some bridge icing around here. Let's get down there and take a look. This is the 12Z GFS, the global forecast system. If you're new to this, the raw computer model output, we show you stuff here you don't see on TV. Kind of gives you the reasoning behind our thinking in the forecast process. This is valid at noon tomorrow, at 500 millibars, about 18 to 19,000 feet up. Very cold vortex over the northeast. We've got a northwest flow aloft, and down below that, we stay cold tomorrow. And again, tomorrow morning, that's when the bottom could drop out for some of the colder spots up in northeast Alabama, especially where there's a snow cover. The GFS is showing 14 for Birmingham. I would imagine places like Broomtown, Valley Head, Collinsville will see 6, 7, 8, or 9 degrees tomorrow morning. Wow. And the high tomorrow is only going to be in the mid-30s. Both the NAM and the GFS are showing mid-30s. And again, that's over 20 degrees below average. Very cold. All right, Wednesday, here comes the issue. You can see that we've got some overrunning in progress, a surface low in the lee of the Rockies, and more moist air beginning to go up and over shallow cold air at the surface. The critical thickness values for snow way north of here. This would not be a snow event. This would be a freezing rain event with maybe some sleet involved. Sleet, those are ice pellets. Freezing rain, that's the problem. That's when it rains and temperatures are colder than freezing. Just to let you know, the GFS is showing 22 and the NAM is showing 23 for the low Wednesday morning, and there will be some evaporative cooling involved as well. So that's problematic. And here's a look at the high-resolution RPM model. This is valid at 15Z. That would be 9 o'clock Wednesday morning. And as you can see, it's got a solid mass of light freezing rain over North Alabama. That's that white you see there. And again, just a little bit with this cold infrastructure, it's not going to take much to make those bridges awfully icy, even if it's light. Now, let's look at the temperatures, and this is critical. We'll kind of zoom into this. This is the 2-meter temperature guidance for 9 o'clock Wednesday morning. The freeze line running from near Muscle Shoals down to about Natural Bridge, Double Springs, just north and east of Birmingham. I'd say Gardendale, Trussville, then it dips way down toward Roanoke in East Alabama. In theory, that would be your line that would separate just a cold rain to the south from freezing rain problems to the north. And understand, that's a pretty good, I would imagine that might work. That might be it, but this will certainly have the chance to change between now and Wednesday morning. But just be aware that we could see some freezing rain issues for parts of North and East Alabama Wednesday, anywhere from 6 in the morning until early Wednesday afternoon until we get above the freezing mark. And while it will not be a major ice storm, something that's going to last for days, I don't think it'll be enough to cause any power outages. It certainly could foul traffic up with bridge icing. Now, Thursday, no problem here. The warm front lifts north of us, and we warm up. In fact, the GFS is showing 66 on Thursday. Hey, it's a heat wave. We'll go ahead and start to ramp the numbers up in our forecast. I think we've got upper 50s, but we'll probably bump it up in the low 60s and slowly creep up in that direction. But that would suggest a mild and showery day. And then on Friday, again, we've got another short wave coming at us, and down below that, the lead wave is on by, and that front's still hanging around here. We've got it dry on Friday, but I'm not so sure that's going to be the case. This is suggesting Friday will be cooler. We might be in the 40s all day with a chance of some light rain at times. And then Saturday, starting off the weekend, a surface low develops in the Gulf in response to the short wave south of Panama City, and that would bring kind of a cold rain in here Friday night into Saturday. Now, we have seen some runs stronger and farther north. And again, I'm telling you, that might be a close call for some winter weather issues. For now, we'll just leave it a cold rain. And then there's a look at the 850 chart. This is the temperature is about 5,000 feet off the ground. That purple line near Memphis, that would be what could be a rain-snow line. But again, the cold air is going to be very shallow here, and even below, it might be below 5,000 feet. So, but again, for now, we're just going to go with a chance of a cold rain Saturday, and then Sunday, that system is by, and not as cold. We've seen some runs much more amplified than this, where it gets really cold on Sunday, but this run is not as strong. And then Monday of next week, that looks cool and dry. All right, that's Monday of next week. Everybody wants to know about Christmas. Christmas time is here. Happiness and cheer. Here's the 24th, Christmas Eve, 6 o'clock in the evening, about the time old man Santa Claus gets ready for his run. And yeah, we've got that trough over the east, and by golly, guess what? It's cold, and there could be snow flurries if this is right, with a surface low deepening off the South Atlantic coast. Let me tell you what now, we've never had a white Christmas here, and I'm not saying we are. I don't think anybody in their right mind would say that, but at least that gives you some hope, or you can dream. But this is voodoo. We know that could change, but again, we're getting closer, and then on the 25th, on Christmas Day, it's cold. Cold air floods the east, a big 1038 Arctic high coming down across the Canadian border. So, and again, look at the big snowstorm for New England if this is right on Christmas Day. Boston and Cape Cod and the interior sections, New York City, that could be huge. But remember, this is going to change. This is not a forecast. This is model output. And on the 29th, it gets even colder. This is the end of the forecast. Look at those thickness values there. The 540 line all the way down to Jacksonville. Goodness gracious. So you can see it sure looks like we are indeed going to stay on an average basis cold through the rest of December. That's it for the Weather Xtreme video today. We'll have notes on the blog. The next video here by 7 o'clock tomorrow morning. And if you're local to us, we invite you to watch us on television this evening. ABC 3340 in Birmingham at 5, 6, and 10. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful evening, and God bless.
Each day there are new stories to tell about the people who live here and the place we call home.
All of the faces that I see, all of the places close to me, they're all part of all the best things about
sharing your stories on ABC 3340, Alabama's news leader.